March 16th, watch this day and do this with your money. Let's jump right into it. But if you haven't done so yet, or if you're new here, make sure to subscribe by hitting that button right down below the video so I can keep you updated with all of these changes as things are happening very, very fast right now. Thanks again, subscribe down below, and let's jump right into the video. Alright, so March 16th is a very important day that we'll need to watch very closely as we're likely going to see some things happening that we haven't seen in quite a very long time. I do want to lay it out for you, letting you know what is going to be happening that day, as well as what we should be watching for on that day and what we may want to do with our money prior to that day coming forward. Alright, so first off, I think all of us can agree we're living through a very interesting time as it is a very high inflationary period that we are living through, right? We continue to see inflation raging higher right now. Things are getting more expensive. It seems like almost on a daily basis. Therefore, we may want to take some money moves going forward right now to help protect us from even higher prices coming forward on March 16th. Well, between now and then, we'll probably see even higher prices on other things. But let me lay out what is actually going on that day and why I am saying all this. So March 16th is the date in which the Federal Reserve will be meeting for their FOMC meeting. Now, this is a meeting that takes place every 6 weeks. They come together and they determine what they want to do as far as interest rates going forward and the state of the economy and what their actions are going forward. Well, as of this date, we've already heard from the chairman of the Federal Reserve, Jerome Powell, just the other day. They're already anticipating a 25 basis point increase in rates. Therefore, that simply means they're planning on raising interest rates by 0.25% or 25 basis points, a quarter of 1%. That is the baseline as of right now. However, there's also been discussion that they would possibly be opening up to a 50 basis point increase in interest rates on that day, which is also 0.5% or 0.5%. So, why we need to watch this very closely and what you may want to do with your money before that date. Now again, I can't tell you what to do with your money, but either way, I can possibly give you some recommendations going forward because ultimately, every time we turn around, it seems like prices are going up on essentially everything right now. If we can save a little bit of money here and there, it's certainly going to help us out. So here's what we can look for going forward. As the Federal Reserve comes out and raises interest rates on March 16th, which we already know they're going to be raising rates by at least a quarter of a point, possibly even 0.5 point on that day. Therefore, interest rates will be going up. Now, here's the thing. If you have any kind of adjustable interest rate, maybe on like a credit card, maybe an auto loan, maybe a personal loan, a line of credit, a HELOC, home equity line of credit, things like this are adjustable rates. In general, sometimes even mortgages are adjustable rates. If you have a fixed rate mortgage, you're fine. Nothing's going to change there. That's why it's a fixed rate. You're fixed for the duration of your mortgage. However, if you do have an adjustable rate mortgage or an adjustable rate loan of any kind, you may, sometime before that date, if you have any extra money. Now again, I completely understand. Money is very tight right now. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to act like you have all this money sitting around because I understand a lot of people do not have extra money right now. However, one thing I wanted to point out for you is sometime before that date, as we already know, interest rates will be going up. If sometime before that date, if you happen to have a little bit of extra money and it's not waiting for, a rainy day fund or things like this, if you have a little bit of extra money, you may want to try to pay down some of your debts, if you have any, by the way, that has any kind of adjustable rate on it as far as the interest rate, because we already know that those interest rates will be going up on that day. March 16th, they will be going higher as a result of the FOMC meeting from the Federal Reserve. As a result of that, any type of adjustable interest rate would also be moving higher. Therefore, you'd be paying more in interest going forward at that time. Now, again, this is basically just money that we're going to be spending that we necessarily don't want to spend. As in, higher interest rates means a little bit higher payment, more that's going to be required to you to pay to the financial institution, wherever it is that you may have a little bit of debt outstanding. So again, I completely understand. Money's very tight right now. It's not like we can peel off an extra $5,000 and pay off outstanding debts. I totally understand that. But if there's any way between now and then you can pay down a little bit of debts that you may have, again, maybe it's on a credit card, something like that, whatever may have an adjustable rate, interest rate, you may want to consider doing that before they actually raise these rates. But at the end of the day, if that is not a feasible thing that many of us can do, then we have to understand that rates will be going higher and we will have to pay a little bit more interest pretty much starting then. Now, again, it's not going to be a ton. It's not going to translate into hundreds or thousands of dollars, but it will be a little bit more, especially right now when pretty much everybody is asking for more with essentially everything that we are buying these days. It's just one more way that possibly we could actually lower the output as far as how much money is going out the door each month, or possibly each week and even every day. So just wanted to point this out for you and let you know some of the things that we could possibly do going forward if this is an option. But again, we'll have to continue watching this very closely. Inflation is raging right now. It is going very, very high. We also do know the energy crisis right now as far as the oil ban and all of these, the energy bans as far as coming from Russia and all this other things going on right now. Energy prices are spiking through the roof. And ultimately, like I've been saying so many times in previous videos, the energy prices are going to translate into essentially everything else that we buy on our regular lives, like in a regular basis, on our regular daily schedules. Whatever we happen to buy on a regular basis, pretty much everything is tied to energy prices in some way, shape, or form. So it's unfortunate, but ultimately this is the case going forward. So another thing too, this interest rate hike is also going to be seen in things like mortgage rates. By the way, if you were thinking about possibly refinancing, or if you're in the market to buy a new place or anything like this, it's going to be reflected in these interest rates as well. However, if you're already locked in on something, if you're already locked in on maybe a mortgage, a 30-rate fixed mortgage, or a 15-year, or whatever it happens to be, if you have any type of fixed debt right now, you're fine. It's not going to change. That's the whole point of having a fixed loan, fixed mortgage, whatever it happens to be, any type of fixed rate, you're fine. Interest rate's going to go to, I don't know, 20%. It wouldn't really matter. You're fixed. That's why you fix those rates. So anyway, I wanted to point this date out for you, let you know what's going on that date, and things we have to watch for going forward. Now, we do know also, according to what big banks are saying, according to analysts, the experts, what everybody's saying right now, they're actually anticipating multiple rate hikes this year alone. So as I said a minute ago, the FOMC meetings, these meetings that I'm talking about right here that's coming on March 16th, these happen every 6 weeks. The Federal Reserve gets together. It's called the FOMC, Free Open Market Committee is what it stands for, FOMC. So anyway, they get together every 6 weeks. They determine what they want to do going forward. And it sounds like pretty much every meeting between now through the rest of the year is probably going to encompass rate hikes. So again, for every 6 weeks that we go by and they bring up another one of these meetings, rates will likely continue moving higher, probably by at least a minimum of 25 basis points or a quarter of 1%, 0.25%, probably every meeting between now and the end of the year, possibly even more than that, but I would say an absolute minimum is that. Now again, I want to throw this out there as well. A lot of people are, or the Federal Reserve, I should say, is thinking that this is going to like really tamp down inflation. It's not. It's simply not. Unless they come in really aggressively and really raise rates fast, this little 0.25% is not going to do much to inflation right now. It may slow it down a teeny tiny bit, but it's like putting a log on a railroad tracks in front of a train that's screaming down the tracks at 60 miles an hour. It's not going to do anything. The train's going to barrel right through that log. It's going to throw it off to the side and just keep rolling right on by. It's not going to do anything. Why did I choose a log analogy? Honestly, I have no idea. That's just the first thing that came to my mind. I have no idea. My point is, inflation right now is like a freight train running down the tracks at 60 miles an hour. Pretty much anything in its way, it's going to blow right through it and nothing's going to stop that thing. Unless you put it, something really big in front of its path, it might slow it down. So anyway, my point is inflation is very strong right now and it's likely going to continue raging very strong unless we get some very strong countermeasures, which could be rapidly rising interest rates by the Federal Reserve. So it could slow down inflation, but at the same time, it could also smash the market going forward. So again, they got to kind of thread the needle on this thing going forward. We'll see if they can do it, but realistically, I don't think they're going to raise rates anywhere near what they would need to actually slow this inflation down. So yeah, we're kind of in an interesting situation right now as far as interest rates, the inflation situation, the supply chain issues, the global conflict. I mean, there are a lot of things going on right now. A lot of moving parts to this machine, and we've got to watch all of it very closely. Anyway, that's what I'm doing here for you. So I hope this video helps you out as far as keeping you informed with everything going on, as well as possibly giving you a few recommendations going forward as far as what you can do with your money going forward. Now, again, I totally understand. It's tight right now. Money's very tight for a lot of people. Just trying to do what I can to help you, as well as keep you informed with everything going on. But again, ultimately, at the end of the day, it is your say what you do with your money. I have no clue what your situation is. Everybody's situation is very, very different right now. But anyway, just want to help you out in any way that I can. So please subscribe down below if you haven't done so quite yet. Share this video with your friends, family, social media, and go back and check out any of the other 2,200 plus videos right here on the channel. Enjoy your day, and I hope to see you later.